everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing very well today. So today's video is going to be a little bit negative, so I do apologize in advance, but I'm going to be sharing with you the worst of 2023. So this is a list that I came up with, and unfortunately these products just did not work out for me. Now, just a quick disclaimer, if these products are some of your favorites or you enjoyed them this year, this is no hate. This is just what did not work out for me. But let's go ahead and get started. So as you may have expected, a lot of these products I no longer own, so I will have to post pictures here on the screen for you. But this is going to be products specifically that launched in 2023. So these are products that I picked up within the year of 2023. I tried them out and they did not work out for me. Okay, so the first product that comes to mind, and this came to mind pretty quickly because this was just so bad on me. It is the Milani loose powder. I hated this powder so much. It was so finely milled that it almost looked drying on my skin. I feel like it did absolutely no favors for my skin. I feel like it would be a product that I really liked the way that my makeup looked, and then I powdered the skin and I hated the way that it made my skin look. It made me look dry, it made me look matte, it basically just made me look completely flat, like I had nothing good going on. And so yes, I hated that powder. I also completely disagree with the fact that it was called translucent, because I seriously did not see anything translucent about that powder. I felt like that powder was like it did cause your foundation or your concealer to oxidize, and a translucent powder should not do that. And that has been a common complaint from a lot of people with that powder, so just stay clear from that one. I know some people really enjoyed it, but I seriously hated it so much. Then we have the Wet n Wild liquid shadows. I was so excited whenever these released. I really enjoy liquid shadows, not as much as I definitely should because I have so many that just sit there, but these just could not blend out. I feel like every time I would go in and then I would blend them out, they would just disappear. They would become patchy on the eyes and they just wouldn't really look good, to be honest with you. I always hated the way that my eyeshadow looked anytime that I used these, and it's really frustrating, obviously, because you take time to do your makeup, and whenever it doesn't turn out the way that you want it to, it can become really frustrating and almost to the point where it's like, why did I even bother, right? And that's kind of how I felt with the Wet n Wild shadows. I would try blending them out. I would try again adding more pigment and it would just blend away. It would become patchy. It would almost leave like blank spaces on my eyelids. So anyways, again, kind of a product where I would stay clear from those. If you're looking for really good liquid shadows from the drugstore, I actually recommend Lottie London, and I picked those up from Walmart. Those are really good. They are matte, but they are really high performing. Then we have the Tarte Liquid Blush Wand. So I really enjoy the contour wands from Tarte, but the blush wands, nothing to do with the formula. I just didn't like the way that they looked on my skin. I feel like these were more highlighters or like blush toppers, but the shade that I got, which was the shade pink, just didn't really work with anything that I was wanting to do. I can work with a blush lighter. I love, you know, blush toppers and things like that. However, this one, it just wasn't really giving what I wanted it to give, if you will. So I decluttered this. I actually gifted it to my coworker. She was curious about them. I'm like, hey, I literally have one sitting in my collection that I don't love. Do you want it? So I gave it to her, and I'm thinking she's enjoying it. I'm not sure, but I was happy to, you know, to re-gift that because I was not enjoying it. It didn't really have a place in my collection. It wasn't really a blush. It wasn't really a highlighter that I liked. So it really just wasn't really anything memorable to me. The contour ones, however, from Tarte are amazing, and I highly recommend those. And then we have the Wet n Wild Holiday Blush Set. So I actually do have this with me. So Wet n Wild, they launched a really cute holiday collection, and I really enjoyed some products from the line, but I did not enjoy the blush set from them. So it came with a blush. This is the Holiday Foxtrot in the shade Bright Pink. Really cute packaging, and in the pan, this blush looks absolutely beautiful. And then the highlighter that came in the same, so this was a set, so it was like a face duo set, and the highlighter in this set was called Soft Rose Gold, and this one is a really pretty pinky highlight, more like a blush topper. And I just wasn't a fan of these. I know that these were given glowing reviews by a few people that I watch here on YouTube, but I just didn't enjoy these. First off, the blush was just so lackluster. I felt like it wasn't super pigmented, and that's really frustrating because I love Wet n Wild's blushes. I love the formula. I always just kind of sing their praises. I feel like they're a really nice, just blurring formula, a nice matte formula, and they're just like really nice and smooth on the skin. And I feel like these, or this one in particular, was just lackluster. It wasn't super pigmented, and I just wanted it to show up like it does in the pan on the skin. Like I wanted it to translate, and it just doesn't. So really disappointed in that one. And then the highlighter, everybody loves Wet n Wild highlighters, myself included, and I just felt like this was not it. I felt like this was just, again, not super pigmented. It didn't really translate to this beautiful like rose pinky kind of rose gold highlight on the skin. So I was just really disappointed in these, especially because I just really love Wet n Wild's complexion products, and I feel like this collection just kind of let me down a little bit. Since we're on the topic of the holiday collection from Wet n Wild, I did want to share this. This is really disappointing because I love one of the other palettes from this collection so much, and this is the Holiday Foxtrot Jolly Berry Jumper, Jolly Berry Jumper palette. And this was so disappointing, you guys. So disappointing. It is the eyeshadow look that I'm wearing today. I did use this palette to create this look. And again, this is just so disappointing. I felt like it was just so powdery. Like these shadows were a little bit chalky. They weren't very high performing at all, and I have had nothing but really good experiences with Wet n Wild's eyeshadows. You know, I constantly am recommending these Color Icon palettes from them, but this one is a definite skip. I would highly recommend that you go for the shade Nutmeg Paws, which I have right here. This one is absolutely amazing. It is so high performing. I love the color story. I also love how versatile this one is, and I have gotten so many compliments on my eyeshadow when I use this palette. So I recommend Nutmeg Paws. However, I do not recommend Jolly Berry Jumper. I don't know if maybe Wet n Wild like doesn't do a good pink eyeshadow formula or what, but this again was just so underwhelming, and I was honestly just very disappointed with this eye look today. So this is a definite fail as well. Continuing on, this is a throwback. I honestly forgot that this launched this year. I don't know why I thought maybe this had launched last year. Like I had just completely forgotten. And it's the Urban Decay Quickie Concealer. I really, again, forgot about this concealer, but it's still available at Ulta. This is still part of the Urban Decay line. And I remember this was so hyped at the very beginning of this year. So many people loved this one, and this concealer sucked. Like seriously, this concealer was just so awful. It was so bad. I was so disappointed because again, this got so hyped. So many people loved it. They raved about the formula. They raved about how hydrating it was, how people were wearing it as foundation. And no, absolutely not. This was so cakey and so drying underneath the eyes. It did absolutely no favors for me underneath the eyes. And I'm someone who's super picky with concealer, and this was just absolutely awful. So I do not recommend that concealer at all. I completely forgot about it. I must have repressed it and stored it way back in my subconscious because I completely forgot about it. So that is a true testament again of how just unmemorable this concealer was and how awful it was. So that was definitely one of the worst products this year. Then we have the Flower Beauty Contour Wand. So I do not have this product again, so I'm going to put a picture on the screen. Talk about an awful liquid formula. It's so funny because I was trying to pawn these off to my sister. Like I had them in a basket that I had taken home to my mom, and it was just like, hey, like take a look at all these products. If y'all want any, feel free. If not, you know, I might try to like resell them or something like that. And she was like, didn't you just give this a bad review on your channel? I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, then why do I want it? You know, it was so funny, but it really is a bad product. so many people just did not enjoy this formula from Flower, and again, it's for good reason, because it was so quickly drying that it was impossible to blend out. This is a product that it came in this sponge tip applicator, and I would dot this product on my skin and I could literally see the circles on my skin because it would not blend out correctly. And so I just completely was so disappointed in this product. I think especially because at the drugstore there are so many good options. Hard Candy's liquid bronzer came out this year and it's amazing. Elf came out with wands, contour wands, and those are really good. Milani came out with some I think last year, and those are really good. So Flower Beauty just has no excuse to be coming out with subpar products like that. And so again, that was just such a terrible product, and I completely got rid of that. So then we have another really terrible product, and that is from Lawless. And Lawless came out with the Forget the Filler lip balms. These were so underwhelming. They were so disappointing. Lawless has some really great products. Their Forget the Filler lip gloss is so stunning on the lips. It really does just make your lips look so juicy and so pouty and just so full. I mean, everything about those lip glosses are stunning. And when they came out with these lip balms, I was so excited. I thought they were going to be the next Maracuja Juicy Lips. I thought they were going to be the next Makeup by Mario plumping lip serums, and these were not. These were so lackluster, so underwhelming. This was one of the few products that I actually returned to Sephora this year, again, because it was just so disappointing and so underwhelming. And why are high-end brands coming out with subpar products? You know, the drugstore is killing it. Elf is killing it. NYX is killing it. Makeup Revolution. I mean, so many brands are doing some great things at the drugstore level. And so for high-end brands to come out with products that just suck, like that's inexcusable at this point, I feel like, because they are charging so much more money than drugstore brands, and drugstore brands are doing such a good job that really does raise the bar for these high-end brands. And I totally feel like Lawless missed the mark with these because they're just so underwhelming. They weren't hydrating. They had no gloss to them. They had no like hydrating feel to them. They didn't look juicy on the, like nothing. Like everything that the lip gloss does from Lawless, this lip balm was completely ignoring. So I would recommend, if you were looking into the lip balms from Lawless, just completely move on because they were so underwhelming. Then we have from Glow Recipe, the like strawberry like drops. It's like the BHA pore filling kind of thing. Wow, that was such a fail. I know that was definitely pretty polarizing. Some people really enjoy this product. They feel like it does wonders for their skin, that it really does, you know, blur the pores or mattify the skin. And then some people hated them. And I was definitely in that category. I definitely feel like it mattified the skin. So if you have oily skin, this product may work beautifully for you. And if so, I'm happy for you because it really did mattify the skin. But I think for me, it mattified too much. It almost felt like very tight on my skin. And then I just felt like it did nothing for the pores. It did nothing as far as like smoothing down the skin, which is seriously what it's supposed to be doing. Like it literally mentioned blurring the pores and it didn't do that at all. So I was disappointed in that. I think I might have returned that product too. I'm not sure. That or I sold it. I think I sold it. But yeah. If you have dry skin, normal skin, I think even combination skin, I would maybe stay away from those strawberry drops from Glow Recipe because again, I just didn't feel like it was doing enough favors for me. Now, if you're wanting to solely use that for skincare, maybe it works better for that. I'm not sure. I was using it more like a primer, but I was super unimpressed and I didn't enjoy how it made my skin look and feel. Then we have the Elf blush wands. So I really enjoy the contour wands. I haven't tried the highlight wands and I'm not really interested in trying those, but the blush wands just looked absolutely awful. I picked up the shade, I think it was pink or something, the one that looked most like the Charlotte Tilbury Pinkgasm shade. That is the shade I picked up. and I think it was Rose All Day actually, now that I think about it. And it just looked really bad. I feel like it just kind of sat on the cheeks. It didn't really blend out. It blended into just like this blob of color, and because it was kind of like a sparkly formula, it just looked like glitter in one spot on my cheeks, which was very irritating, right? And so I was just so fed up with that product. I'm so fed up with these sponge tip applicators. I wish brands would move away from this because it just makes everything so messy, so hard to apply. And again, it's just really unnecessary. Like, I don't know, like, I know why they're doing it. It's because Charlotte Tilbury does it, but just because she did it doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean that it's the most efficient, that it's the most practical, because it's really not. So not a fan of those blush ones from Tarte or from e.l.f. I do enjoy the contour ones from e.l.f., but the blushes were definitely a miss for me. Then we have the L'Oreal Infallible Blush. So again, I do not have this product, and this is probably a shock to some of you because this is definitely up my alley. If you read the description, it sounds like it's up my alley. These are very pigmented matte blushes, matte powder blushes, and everything about this blush I wanted to love, but I just didn't. First off, I didn't love the shades that they came out with. I feel like every single shade they came out with was just not really approachable for fair and light skin tones. Some of the shades were absolutely stunning, and I think they would have looked beautiful on medium to deep skin tones, which is great, right? I'm so glad that there are really beautiful blush shades for them at the drugstore. However, fair to light complexions, I feel like there wasn't really much for them. And these were so pigmented. And I know you're probably thinking, I cannot believe I'm hearing Sabrina say that a blush was too pigmented. And I know, I'm surprised too, but it really was too pigmented. It was to the point where I just felt like I couldn't even really blend it out, that no matter how little I actually had on my brush, it was still gonna look so bright on my skin. And it's one of those products where I don't mind a heavy blush look, right? I really don't mind a heavy blush look, but the shades that they came out with, I had picked up the more pink one. I think it's in the shade Confident Pink, and it would just look so contrasting against my light skin that it just looked really bad. Like, it looked really bad, and it looked okay here at home whenever I was getting ready, but then whenever I was at work and I was in the the restroom looking at the mirror, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this looks so heavy. I remember like having to get like, paper to just kind of like blot a little bit to try to get some of it off. Yeah, absolutely not. I do not want my blush looking like that. I don't want to have to worry about my blush and how it's looking and how it looks against my complexion, that kind of thing. So those were unfortunately a fail for me. And I think even if they come out with nude shades, I may or may not try them. I don't know. It is just a really pigmented formula that it would have to be a fairly nude shade for me to be interested. And those are all of the products. I thought I had one more, but it was the Wet n Wild palette, because I just added this because, again, I just used this one today and I'm so disappointed. But those are all of the products that I tried in 2023 that were the worst in my opinion. Obviously, there's probably some that I'm missing. I kind of just come by and write down these products as I'm going through them, but I could have easily missed some. So what are your worst products of 2023? I would love to hear from you guys. I'm sorry if this video is negative, but sometimes that's also what it's about, right? There are makeup products that really are just awful, that don't work out for me, and maybe they work out for you. And if they did, and if they do, I'm so excited and happy for you. But for me, these products were a complete mess. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of my YouTube channel family here. Thank you all so much for watching. And now I'll go ahead and see you in my next video. Bye.